Wow. Welcome to the Behavior Mastery Challenge. This is model number 1, and our focus is on understanding the power of your mind when it comes to your capacity for limitless living. And we've been able to look at a couple of things. Now we are going to focus on mindsets and addictions. The question here now is, why exactly do we act the way we do? This is profound, because if you don't understand why you act the way you do, you can't unravel it. You can't deal with it. It has been established that all adult behavior is rooted in childhood exposure. This is so profound, and the reason it is rooted, it is so explained, is because of the way the human mind functions. It is impossible. It's important that we understand how our mind functions so that we can harness it to our own advantage. At birth, the human mind comes at a blank state, like a blank slate, like we have been told. It's empty, but it is open. Empty but impressionable, unspoiled, pure, uncorrupted, and unstained. But as soon as you are born, the mind begins to take the shape of its immediate environment. It is the reason why most of all call our preferences, my sexual preferences, my color preferences, my reading preferences, my food preferences, most of the things we call our preferences are merely products of first exposures. Because okay, I'll give you a typical example. A child grows up with a family where they don't function effectively or read in a noisy environment. And everyone in that environment has been made to believe that this is not possible. Look, you can't read in a noisy environment. And so the child believes this until this same child migrates to a new environment, lives with an uncle in a factory where for 24 hours, generators and noise and equipment is the new normal for this child. Some children will completely shut down and be incapacitated. They want to go back home. I can't stay here. And yet others will be compelled by their new environment to activate their other dormant capabilities. And then you will realize that reading and functioning in a noisy environment will also become their new normal given their circumstances. And then what that would happen to that child is that child now can function, whether the environment is noisy or whether the environment is not noisy. At that point, the child can now decide what their actual preference is. The truth is, until you have tested both circumstances and both realities, it is not possible to conclude. It is not correct to conclude, no, I can't do this. No, the human mind has trapped within it unbelievable capabilities. We only limit ourselves or are limited by our own exposures, and such exposures that we accept. We must come to terms with that anything can be learned, anything can be unlearned. The next typical example that comes to mind is the biblical history in which an angel had appeared to Jacob in a dream and educated him on how to choose the color of the skin of his flocks. He was serving a man, Laban, that had cheated on him 10 times. He was serving the guy was into animal husbandry, and 10 times his wages were changed, 10 times he was deprived. And at this point of frustration, he had said he was not going to work with the guy no more. And this time, the guy went to inquire somewhere with a spiritist, and they told him, listen, all your success is traceable and trapped in that young guy. If you let him go, you're done. So he came back, he began to plead with Jacob, and he was like, okay, Jacob said, I'm not going to work with you no more. He said, no, okay, decide, fix your wages yourself. Jacob said to him, I'm not going to fix my wages. This is exactly how I want to be paid. This was after he had had the encounter with the angel, and the angel said to him, listen, at the point when the flocks are mating, Jacob, create a design of your preferred pattern. Design it and put it at a place where the flocks that are mating can see the design, and whatever they are focused on while mating will reflect in the skin of their offspring. Wow. Just ensure that the flock is focused on the design pattern of your choice while mating. So if you want offsprings that are plain, That's what will happen. Create a plain design. If you want offsprings that are striped, create a striped design and make sure the vision, the power of attention, the power of focus, the power of thought will control reproduction. Wow. Jacob said to his master, listen, you don't pay me no more. Let's have an agreement that all the offspring that are striped are mine and all the plain ones are yours. The guy said, I agree with you. So Jacob applied that and all the offspring that came out were stripes. Well, after some time, the boss said, no, I don't want it again. Now I want all the offspring that are striped. And Jacob said, I'm good. Jacob went again, did the same thing, and all the offspring came out plain. That was how Jacob amassed wealth. The power of percentages, the power of the more you labor, your creativity pays off for you. I gave all these examples to establish one point, that the human mind, your mind, you that's listening to me, you have a very photographic mind. And that your mind is capable of reproducing whatsoever it is exposed to. And that what you are facing, what you are dealing with right now as an addiction is directly a product of what you have been exposed to, whether by videos or by pictures or by experiences or by abuse or by whatever. And that if the human mind can have photographic competencies and accuracies that can capture exposures and replay them, trust me, they also have the capacity of unlearning whatever they have learned and whatever they have been exposed to. For example, if you got exposed to something negative and you are reproducing it, you should know that if you also get exposed to something positive, or if you also get exposed to something that is your preferred outcome, your mind is also capable of reproducing that. So you can't allow your mind to only function to the negative when it has capacity for functioning to the positive. So at the onset, your mind is very impressionable. But the problem with the mind is that as soon as it is done gathering those impressions, it becomes fixed on those impressions. That's what we call mindset. Your mind has gathered impressions and it has become fixed on those impressions, and those impressions have become the normal, the new mode, the new template. That is why addictions are almost unbreakable. But just for you to understand the capabilities of the human mind to engage the same procedure to break that pattern is why this class is on here. This is so important, that when the mind becomes set, to unset and reset becomes difficult for most people, but I'm saying it is not impossible. So almost all of the times, an addiction is the way the mind becomes set as a result of an exposure. If we are going to be able to deal with that lifestyle, then there has to be a reprogramming of the mind. This reprogramming of the mind is what behavior mastery is all about, just to show you how you can reprogram your mind. So all this pathological fixation on your cravings that you've had allowed to take over your life, and then you have become so helplessly powerless that then you come to that ridiculous conclusion, it's my choice. That is how I was born. No, you're lying. You're lying. That's the way we respond when we fight a lifestyle. We cannot defeat it. Then we surrender and then we say it's my choice, just to cover, just to hide our helplessness, just to hide our frustration, just to hide our defeatedness. It's defeatism. To submit to something and say, that's my choice, when you knew it was not your choice. You knew at the onset your body, your spirit, your soul, everything about you was reacting against this thing, but it enslaved you, and then you gave in. For some of us, especially those of us that are homosexuals and lesbians and gays, we're like, no, that's how I was born. No. If you want to tell yourself the truth, you know that you are just submitting to defeatism. You are just giving up the struggle. You just done all you could do. You once were even a Christian. You prayed all you could, you fasted all you could, you did everything they asked you to do, you were even a committed worker, but somehow you couldn't overcome this thing, and you told yourself, why deceive myself, why lie? Maybe it's not yet time to even be a Christian. When it's time, the power to overcome these things will come. No, 1,000 times no. I'm gonna show you what you can do to deal with this, because the real question is this: is that really what you want? Or are you just succumbing to other people's templates and conditionings, people who abused you in school, while you were in the hostel, while you were in some kind of uncle's house, while you were in some kind of place, people exposed you to all kinds of trauma and torture and abuse, and now you are caving into the very thing they did to you that you hated. You are succumbing, submitting, surrendering, and being imprisoned. God forbid. I'm not going to let you do that. Together, we must fight this and come out strong. This is so important. I will be right back to show you how you can diversify and get free from some of these things. Stay with me, and I'll be right back.